Okay, so I'm just going to talk through today how you can go about using your language knowledge organisers for your home learning, and also how we'll be using them in class in our Do It Now tasks. Your teachers will be regularly setting you activities to use these at home. I'm demonstrating today using a Spanish Year 7 Autumn 1 knowledge organiser. The practice is exactly the same regardless of which year group you're in. Now, your teachers in your Show My Homework task will clearly state to you which knowledge organiser you need to refer to. We will be using them on a half-termly basis, but teachers will often refer back to previous terms' knowledge organisers so that you can revisit your prior learning as well. The rationale behind these is that on the very front cover, we've got the key things that you need to know during that half term that are not topic specific. So it's key things that come up all the time in this particular language, regardless of what topic it is that you are studying. Inside your knowledge organiser, it's broken down into various different sections. So in here, although it does look like a lot of information, we're actually only going to be referring to a small section of the knowledge organiser at any one time. This is broken down into everything that you will be covering during that first half term. Building on this, we've got a section which we refer to as our wow phrases. These are the things that will really impress any Spanish speaker if you are able to use these in your language, and we'll talk through how you can go about using those in class. We also have something that we refer to as a parallel text, and I'll explain a little more about that in a separate video that you will come to later in this term. To start off with though, I want to talk about how you can use this for your vocab learning at home and in your independent study. Now, your teacher, as I've said, will direct you to the knowledge organiser, and they will direct you to the section that they want you to study. So for the sake of practising this, we're going to look at our Year 7 key adjectives. Now, you will all have a red vocab testing book. This is what you're going to use in class to test yourself, but you can also use this at home to test yourself in your home learning. You can obviously do it on paper as well if you didn't have your book to hand. Now, the first thing we need to do is just start learning the vocabulary. So we're going to look at this as though we have never seen it before. So good practice is to use our book as a reading ruler, as it were, and just to read through. At home, we definitely want to be reading these aloud so we can think about practising our pronunciation as well. So we're going to be calling on that knowledge that we've been practising in class. So first of all, I'm going to go through just a few words at a time because it's the first time that I've seen this set of vocabulary. Activo. Active, alto, high and tall. I need to remember that's got two different meanings. Castaño, chestnut brown. So the first time I see it, I'll probably only look at three things at a time. I'm then going to cover the English and I'm just going to test myself. Can I remember those different things? Activo, I think it's active. I'm going to check I've got that right. If I've got it wrong, I'm going to immediately cover it and test myself again. Activo. Active. I've got it correct. Alto. Now that had two meanings. It was high, it was also tall. I can check that. Castaño. That was the brown, it was a specific brown, chestnut brown. I'm going to go through until I'm confident with those. If I find I keep forgetting one of these, I just can't make it stick, I could take a piece of card and create a flashcard for myself. If I kept forgetting that alto had those two meanings, I can copy alto, very carefully checking my spelling, and on the back of that card I can write those two meanings, high and tall. I can then keep referring to this particular one and testing myself. Quite a nice game is to actually have two cards where you create exactly the same thing on both cards. You have to have a few of these for it to work. But then I can start mixing them up and I start matching the activities, matching the vocab as I go through. I'll demonstrate that once I've got a couple of different words. I'm going to put those to the side. So first of all, it's about recognition. Once I'm confident that I can recognise the vocabulary, I now need to think about how I'm going to learn to spell it. So this is where my vocab learning book comes in. I'm going to use this to look again at the vocabulary, and I'm going to cover over the Spanish this time. Now I'm just going to do 3 words at a time. At first, I will build this up as I get more confident with the vocabulary. Now, active, I can remember it, it was activo. So I'm going to write that how I think it sounds. Activo. There are no accents on that one, I don't think. High and tall. That was one word, and it was alto. So I'm going to write that in. Now, I'm not very confident with this vocabulary, so I don't want to do a lot of them at once. I'm just going to check them. So I'm going to have a different colour pen, and I'm going to have a look through. Activo. I really need to carefully check it, and I'm going to give myself a tick if I've got it correct. Alto. I'm going to give myself a tick. Now, I'm going to try those again because I'm building it up, and I'm going to try and build in some other ones. I'm going to take a piece of card, and I'm going to cover those over. So, active. I felt confident. It's activo. High, tall, one word. Alto. Chestnut brown. I'm not so confident with that. I think it was castaño. Now I need to think about my spelling because there's a sound there that doesn't exist in English. Castaño. Now I'm going to spell it like this because that's how I'd write it in English. It's really important though that I'm looking and checking, and actually here I can see that in Spanish I've got that wrong. Castaño, they have an extra letter in Spanish that doesn't exist in English. So I write it out correctly. I need to remember that the ñ sound is made by that letter, an ñ. So I'm going to write that in because that is the thing that I have to remember. Now, because I've got that wrong, I'm going to cover this over, and actually I want to challenge myself, so I'm going to cover this as well, and I'm going to have a go again. Castaño, it's the ñ sound. Straight away I'm going to check. Let me have a look. Castaño, that's chestnut brown. I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to try again. Castaño. I'm confident that that's correct. I'm going to write it again. Castaño. Castaño. I'm saying it aloud each time to reinforce my pronunciation. I do need to check, and I need to make sure that I've got it exactly correct. In this one, where I got it wrong, that is my focus area. So I know that this is what I need to remember. Now I'm going to challenge myself, and I'm going to do a few more at once. So I'm going to cover all of those, and I'm going to go right from the beginning. So, activo. High, tall, one word. Alto. Chestnut brown, I've got that now. Castaño. Short. Oh, I can't remember that, so I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to check. Short was corto. Because I couldn't remember it, I'm going to create myself another card. Corto. Short. In fact, I'm going to make two of these exactly the same. Short, corto. I need to very carefully check that my spelling is correct because I don't want to learn the wrong thing. And now is when I can start to test myself with these. So I'm going to jumble them up, and I'm going to put them out in front of me. One in Spanish, one in English, another one in English, and another one in Spanish. At first it's quite straightforward. Alto, high, tall, I can match those. Short and corto, those two are going to match. As I build up my cards, obviously it is going to get more challenging. I can flip it over. Corto, corto, I've got the correct answer. High, tall, alto, I've got the correct answer. Can I remember the English? Corto was short. I'm going to flip it over. I have absolutely got those correct. Alto was high or tall. I can flip it over and I can check those answers. I can also test myself the other way just to keep going back and revisiting the vocab. Short was corto. I might want to write it down in my book to test myself. High or tall was alto. I'm only going to start building these at the moment for the vocab that I know I need to focus on. So that's how we can go about using our vocab learning books to practice the specific vocab that you've been set to learn at home.